Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Welcome to Content Creators Connect. Here we are all about encouraging the three C's, connecting with others via video, content development that builds your personal brand, and creators sharing their experiences despite their distance.
And for those that are joining us for the first time, let's get to know who the C3 team is. Myself, and I couldn't let Dori have all the fun with the glasses, so you'll see some surprises popping up every so often. My name is Kevin, also known as ClasicMac to my online community, and I love finding low cost tools to help you in your live streaming journey. And then off to the side of me, we have Miss Dori, also known to everyone as DSpence, who is using her superpowers to install confidence in those around her and helping others become techsperts in their own adventures. And then we have on the far side Coach Manny, coaching us up in the world of social media marketing, as well as pursuing his passion of streaming about true crime. And if you are joining us, you must have read the topic of today's show. And I want to know why, Dori, before you dive deep into this, why you feel this is such an important and passionate topic for yourself.
Well, I feel very passionate about the concept of confidence. I feel it resonates throughout all aspects of my life. And in particular, I think in terms of content creators, business owners, I think even the most seasoned among us, we need to recognize how much of a larger audience we can actually reach via live video. And I also know there's just something different when you are talking to a camera lens in a room alone versus being able to talk to individuals or groups of people in person. You can't you just can't pull their energy the same way when you're just staring at a piece of technology. And so I'm very passionate about helping people find their confidence on camera.
And Manny,
Nice.
why don't you tell me a little bit about your experience with, I guess, growing confidence by being on camera?
Thank you. Appreciate that. Honestly, when it comes to being on the camera, oh my gosh, I still look at some of my old videos when I first started doing videos and I literally cringe because I'm like, oh my gosh, there was no confidence in what I was sharing. I was like, you can even see how I was reading, I wasn't looking confident at what I was trying to educate people on. That's why I think confidence in on camera is really important, and it's like you got to ask yourself, how can I break down those barriers that are holding you back from feeling and gaining that confidence? Because I can tell you this from personal experience, getting in front of the camera over and over and over, doing so many lives, doing just regular videos has truly helped me gain confidence.
Love it.
No, absolutely. And I can only say practice, practice, practice makes you gain that confidence as well. And for myself, I sort of I call it in my head your free Toastmasters club. So rather than getting in front of an audience and practicing speaking in front of a camera, getting to know and confident in what you're saying, given a topic, for instance, this week, talking about confidence. Last week was talking about audio. lighting and different aspects of live streaming. If you show that confidence on screen, people are going to believe you and are going to take your words of wisdom and take them to heart. So, but before we dive more into this, let us hear from our expert, Dori. Why don't we just dive into the content here?
Well, I appreciate that introduction. I don't know if the word expert would actually be precise. However, I do appreciate it. Before we begin, I have to take a moment and just say, please, if you are enjoying the content that we are putting out there, hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment. We are a new channel, and as such, we really, really, really would love your support. And now, let's get to the topic at hand, shall we? Let's talk confidence. Confidence is a really difficult topic because it's such an abstract but also a really personal thing. People always ask me why I appear to be so natural on camera. And I will tell you that it was not always like that. I could share video clips with you guys from 5 years ago where I just looked so damn awkward. It was scary. I didn't know where to look. I was worried about viewers. I thought, oh my gosh, what if somebody actually comes on and leaves me a comment? What the heck am I going to do? And all I can tell you is that there really is no secret sauce other than practice. Now, all that being said, there are most definitely some amazing tips that you can implement today, like right now, immediately following this stream, to start building your confidence on camera. And I want to start off by sharing probably my biggest piece of advice. Any video that you produce, whether that be a live video or recorded, the biggest thing I can suggest to you is try to ignore the fact that you're speaking into a camera and focus on the fact that you are having a conversation with one person, just one. And, sometimes people get intimidated when they start seeing viewers pop up. They're like, oh my gosh, there's 12 people watching right now. What if I mess up? Oh my goodness. Forget about them. One person is what you need to focus on. And honestly, I've kind of made that my mantra. It is my goal to reach one person. I'm not talking to all of you, I'm talking to you, just one of you. And so you might say, well, okay, yeah, that's great, Spence. How do I do that? Well, I'll tell you what I have done in the past that helps. I like to pretend that I have just walked into Dunkin'. I don't drink caffeine anymore, so I have to change my story. But I have just walked into Dunkin' and I have saddled up to a table where someone that I know and love and feel really comfortable talking to is sitting there. And I use that as my driving force to spawn and spur conversation. How would I talk to the person if I was literally sitting at a table in Dunkin' or Starbucks or your local coffee shop, insert whatever here? We are not sponsored by Dunkin'. How would you speak to them? Would you speak to them in a very robotic, linear way? Or would you allow for back and forth? Would you allow for conversation to happen? Hopefully, you've answered number two, the latter. And so that's always the place that I encourage you to start. Ignore the fact that you've got all this tech around you. Ignore the fact that you're staring into a camera lens, and imagine that you're sitting across the table from someone. Okay? Now, along those lines, I will also say there is a very cool trick. I used to use it. I no longer need to, but I used to. If you struggle with making eye contact, whether that be in real life or if you're struggling to find the right place to look into your camera, take a picture of someone, that same person maybe that you're sitting with Duncan having a conversation with. Take their photo and attach it either directly above your lens or directly below it. It'll be close enough that anyone watching your stream will believe that you are staring deep into their soul and that you are making eye contact with them. Pick a person, print out their picture. It doesn't have to be some huge thing, and put it either directly above or directly below your lens. That'll help spur that conversational aspect to your live stream. So that's my first tip. Conversation, speaking to one person. The next thing I want to talk about is actually something that Manny has discussed before on our channel. Speaking of conversation, bullet points versus scripting. Now, I will also share with you some personal experience. When I first started recording videos, I would write out every single thing I wanted to say. I would put it on note cards, and I would actually tape it to, back then I was recording from my phone. The entire phone would be covered with sticky notes, and all I would leave is the teeny tiny little lens at the top. So I was in essence reading from a script where I had sticky notes attached to my screen. Did it work? Yes. Did it work well? Not so much. It was very evident that you could tell that I was nervous. You could tell that I was trying to follow along on a script. And you could tell when I lost my place. Now, I'll say this. If you are speaking on a topic that you know, that you are confident, see how that word kind of travels through everything, you're confident about your content, you know what you're talking about. You are an expert, if you will. You should be able to create more of a conversational dialogue and less of a rehearsed script point of view. If you are really super nervous, then rather than not pushing the button, write the script. I will never tell you to opt for not pushing the button. So if you need a script, write the damn script. Use the script, read from it. Hell, you know what? The first few times, hold up the paper on camera and look at it if you have to. Whatever it takes to get you to push the button, you got to do it. The other thing is that I hate to say this because it sounds bad when you say it, but people really love messy. They love it. They love when you show your imperfections. They love when you admit them. They even love when you laugh it off and you laugh at yourself, right? Why? Why? it lets them know you're a human being just like them. They don't walk through their day like porcelain dolls, never making mistakes, worrying about shattering. No, we're real, we're raw, we're human beings, and it's okay to show that on camera. It's okay. So try to develop bullet points instead of reading from a script if you can. All right, now the next thing. This might seem like common sense, but I will tell you. Practicing your content is really important, especially if you're someone who feels not so confident in what you want to say. Even though you're an expert, even though you know your stuff, you're worried that when you turn the camera on, you're going to forget everything and black out. Well, don't black out, but forget everything, right? Practice a few times in front of the mirror. Get comfortable with watching yourself while you speak. Learn your own mannerisms. I have a very distinct mannerism. I talk with my hands all the time. That's okay. I own it. It's part of who I am, so I lean into it, right? Another thing with practice, it allows you to slow down your speech enough so that you can communicate clearly. One of the things that I know from experience, when I get myself into a nervous situation, I start to talk a million miles an hour. And the faster I talk, the more my words blur together, the more my speech slurs, and the more difficult it is to understand the message that I'm trying to say. So when you're standing in front of the mirror, practice slowing down, enunciating, making sure you are emphasizing the points that you really want to emphasize. How do you do that? Talk with your hands. Use other body language that allows your audience, that person you're having the conversation with, to know, listen, you got to lean in right now. This is very important. You see what I did there? I leaned a little bit closer. My voice inflection changed. I moved my hands closer to the camera. All of those things spur you in a split second to go, ooh, something she's saying is important here. Okay? And the other thing, you have to sound excited. Practice using different voice inflection. Because if you don't, you're going to sound like a robot. So practice being animated. Raise your energy level, not to an insanely unrecognizable level. If you're not someone who's normally an excitable person, you don't have to act like this larger than life personality on camera. Just take who you are, just turn the volume knob up a few notches, just a few. So practicing is really important. And now let's get to the meat of it, okay? Let's get to the heart of this. Actually pushing the button. It's scary. I know. It really is. So I'm going to give you a couple tips, and then I'm going to actually demonstrate one of these tips for you using my own phone. So the first thing I want to suggest to you is try short form video first. Just try it. Use those reels. Use TikTok. I can't believe I just said that out loud. I hate TikTok. Use Instagram. Use whatever social media platform you are loving right now and try their short form content. It's 60 seconds. I promise you, you will not die being on camera for 60 seconds. I promise. Okay? So try short form video. Now I'm going to just change my screen here for just a second. And I want to talk about the rest of these tips that I'm going to share with you, actually demonstrating from the old phone right here. So here is my Facebook, okay? One of the most amazing ways, especially on Facebook, that you can practice live video is going live to yourself to practice. And then watching that video back so that you, again, can watch your mannerisms, listen to how you speak, your voice inflection, your speed, your tone, all of those things. So I'm going to actually walk you through right now how to set up Facebook to go live to yourself. Okay. So I'm going to just click the, hey, what's on your mind? And I'm going to click the button that says live video. Now I'm going to just switch my camera because that's going to be total inception happening everywhere. So I'm going to just hold it down here at my desk. Couple things I want to point out. Up across the top of my screen, you are going to see right under my name, it'll say to. And next to that are the words public, post, and story. And there's a small drop down arrow. Okay. I'm going to hit that drop down arrow, maybe, and it's going to give me the option to pick my audience. It's going to give me the option to share this out to my story. And who gets to see this? I would suggest if you are just starting out and you're really worried, you're going to hit this button that says only me. Do you see that little lock there? That means this puppy is locked down tighter than Fort Knox. Okay? So I'm changing it to only me. And when I do that, I'm going to turn off my share to story. I share my lives to my story automatically, so I will turn that off right now. Once I've done that, I'm going to close out of that window. And what you should see is you should see now up across the top, it says to only me. It's got the lock and it says just to post. Okay? Now, you can with confidence hit this go live button and know you are the only soul in the world of Facebook that's ever going to see this. So I'm actually going to hit the go live button right now. So I'm going to hit go live. And you're going to see the countdown happen. And everything now looks the same with one exception. Up in the top left corner, there is a small red button. It is, for some people, the button of death. They see that button and they immediately freeze. And oh my God, when people start joining and a little eyeball shows up with a number next to it, they start freaking out. I'm going to tell you that my last tip to you is after you do this a few times and you go live to yourself, you hit the finish button down here in the corner, and even something as simple as identifying where that finish button is, so you learn where all the buttons are on the screen and you're not fiddling around while you're going live, right? Take a piece of tape, a sticky note, I don't care what it is, cover that button up in the top left corner. Because I'm going to circle back right now to the idea of you are speaking to one person, that person that you're having coffee with, or an adult beverage, or a water, whatever your choice is. You don't care if you're broadcasting to 1 million or to no one. Okay? And so I'm going to just switch back here because I know I'm going to be giving people like the shakes. You only care about talking to one person. So cover that live button. You don't care how many people are joining when you first start out. Okay? So actually pushing the button. Go live to yourself a few times to practice. Practice what you look like, practice speaking to that tiny little lens, Practice figuring out where the buttons are. Try a short video first. Go back and watch yourself, and then finally cover that live viewer button. So, in conclusion, I want to leave you with this thought. Make the videos, even if they aren't perfect, because this, my friends, is your training ground. And so now I am going to look forward to hearing a lot of great ideas from my two cohorts here, my two partners in crime, if you will. We are going to move into the next segment. And as people who are in 3 different locations, we love to share how we connect. And so I'm going to ask Kevin at this point, please, would you share some of your experiences or times where you maybe felt super confident or not so confident on camera?
Well, similar to the both of you, it definitely gets easier with time. The more practice, the more you do it, the more confident you feel in front of the camera. I can remember the first time I went live, and it was absolutely frightening. I was scared so bad because of all of those questions. It's like, what if somebody joins? What if somebody says something? What if they ask a question and I don't know? And then as I progressed through that first video, it's like, no, I had 0 viewers. And then as soon as I hit that stop button, it was like, oh, phew, that was done. And then I took a look over. That was only 5 minutes. It went by so fast. It was hilarious. And I had like 2 or 3 pages, and I was basically reading a script at that point. I wasn't as progressed by just reading bullet points and talking about it like I am now. But yeah, it was terrifying to be in front of that camera. And it's like, okay, people are watching me. And then just feeling that sense of relief after. It's like, oh, I got through my script. I can hit the stop button. I'm done. And then realizing, wow, that was only 5 minutes. So it was quite an eye opener for me at that for that very first one to see what kind of planning needs to go into the content of your show. Um, Later on, as I progressed, because once again, I started very bare bones and I didn't have any graphics or um, any live streaming software at the time. So I didn't have any sort of assets, pictures, or lower thirds and all that fancy stuff. I just had a camera on me talking. And yeah, I felt very naked when I was out there. So um, but I've totally grown since then, and through, like you say, through practice and practice, you get to the point where, yeah, I just need a few bullet points just to sort of keep me on track of what the topic of the show is going to be, so that you can actually talk knowledgeably and stay on track to make sure that you get all of your points across as opposed to reading the script. So yeah, definitely starting your live streaming journey, you do make a few mistakes, and yeah, I try to avoid going back to look at those earlier ones because yeah, cringing is not not even the word I would. If there anything beyond cringe, is probably where my I would be on that sliding scale. So why don't we switch over to Manny and let him share some stories of him.
when when I think about being confident and maybe times not so confident, oh my gosh, I could probably have a lot of stories on both. And the one thing that I can honestly say over and over, and Dory, you mentioned it, practice. I had to practice over and over. If I had to guess, I've probably done 1,000 videos. If I had to just take, maybe way more, maybe barely less. But I've done so many lives. I've done a 30-day runs where you're doing a live every single day. And it truly helped bring up the confidence. And then I learn how to become better at teaching. But here's the honest truth. It doesn't matter how much confidence I may seem like I have in front of this camera. There's always that I just want to get better and better. That's it. I just want to get better and better. I never want to think, oh, I killed it. I rocked it. Oh my gosh. I always want to think, okay, how could I be better? How could I get better? Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to serve an audience and I want them to appreciate who I am and what I bring. I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to be fake about it. I want to be confident in my messages that I'm learning how to do in my own world, especially around the things I do all the time. Whether it's coaching, whether it's videos, I did, oh my gosh, like it comes with practice. And I just have, if I could, you said something, Dory, that honestly was life changing for me in a confidence building way. Get in front of the mirror. As someone who comes from Harlem in a tough life, I had to work on my confidence. And that was one of the main things that I did. And this was in my late 20s. That was one of the main things that I did to work on my confidence was get in front of the mirror and talk myself up. And it truly, truly helped. So you hit it on you literally rocked this whole, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great getting some notes. Oh man, great job. Great job.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, I can safely say that I truly believe no matter where we are in our journey, just like Manny said, just like Kevin said, it takes practice and you're never done, right? You're never done. There's days I feel super confident, and then there's other days that I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. So, for those of you listening, just in conclusion, take these words. No, we all have different levels, and it happens for some of us daily. And just take hope in the fact that today you may not feel so confident, but all we ask of you is that you just believe in yourself enough to just push the damn button because it really is a game changer. It truly is. And so I'm seeing some comments here. We have a, wow, why is my comment down there? That's so tiny. Um, Kevin, have a conversation with you, not the masses. I 100% believe that. 100% believe that. Being authentically you on screen, 100%. Thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it. But yeah, if hopefully something here, one tiny little iota resonated with you and it makes you just want to do the damn thing. So
My friends, if you enjoyed this type of content and you feel like we've given you some value tonight, and oh my gosh, that was true value that a lot of us watching this can put this to use right away, starting tonight. If that's the type of content you like and you're finding it useful, we would love it if you would like and subscribe to our channel. Sharing our content is also a great way to spread the love. My friends, we want to help you move forward. So visit our website for information on all the ways you can connect with us. And you can see it right there on your screen, linktree/content creators connect. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Go follow us.
And not only follow us, but interact with us. Tell us what you want to see on our stream because what Dory said today was a gold mine. It was so good. Like, wouldn't you love to have a toolbox full of all these practice tools before you actually go live, after you go live, and how to continue to grow yourself on stream and become confident? So, let us know what you want to see us discuss because we are more than willing to deep dive into some topic that you are interested in. So, off to you, Dory.
Off to me? Well, sorry guys, something crashed on my screen because technology, it is what it is. Um, I would like to say thank you for joining Content Creators Connect, aka C3, tonight as we discussed how you can start growing your confidence on camera and pushing past your fears. Until next time, we urge you to identify and lean into your 3Cs. Start today creating unique content that builds connections and breaks down those barriers. We return next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, where Manny will be discussing tips for attention grabbing headlines. We will be multicasting live to YouTube and Facebook. So be sure to join us, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.